So, thank you for taking the time to do this interview, Theo. We know that you're really busy with season and all your games are going really well. So, just have a few questions for you about life, academics, and of course, basketball, which is not the most important because you're a student athlete, but pretty important to what you're doing at Marquette. So, just to start off, is there any specific pregame routine you have, and if so, what is it?
Pre-game routine. I always take a nap after a pre-game meal, and then I listen to this mental imagery thing that our mental coach put together for us,
Okay.
and I just kind of sit in a quiet room and mentally prepare myself and kind of get myself into character. So,
Do you like picture yourself blocking people and stuff like that since you're the Big East block leader?
uh, yeah, actually, that is part of it. Kind of picturing and imagining what you're going to be doing and how you're going to help your team. So.
Makes sense. So, with all that, being an athlete's pretty much a full time job. What's your advice that you have for student athletes or high schoolers in balancing class, practice, and a social life?
I would say time management and making sure you know what your priorities are, which can be different for every athlete. Like if you're looking to go to the next level after college, then you obviously have to put sports and like treatment with your body at the top of your list. But if you're just kind of doing the sport for fun and just kind of something to do during college, then I mean, you can prioritize how you want. So.
Definitely. We can tell that like getting better has been a priority for you after being co most improved athlete your freshman year, and you've had quite a bit of success your sophomore year already, including a lot of Big East recognitions. So, with all of that recognition that you've been getting, how do you stay humble and manage outside pressures that come with being a star basketball player that a lot of people look up to?
I mean, I kind of just remind myself I haven't really done anything yet, as of stands from like where my goals are. So just knowing that I haven't reached my full potential and just kind of looking forward to what I'm trying to be has kind of just humbled me, and it's kind of my way of making sure I'm always looking to improve and taking it one step at a time.
Definitely, that's a great mindset to have. So, kind of transitioning into academics, are there tutors available for athletes who find it difficult to keep up with their sport or when you guys are traveling to help manage that?
Yeah. I mean, as you know, here at Marquette, like our academic people are great, and they never make you feel overstressed or anything about that. But you can tell it's a lot on their plate, and they're definitely like overworked and everything. But I mean, they love what they're doing and who they're doing it for, so they just make it work. And as a team, that's been very beneficial for all of us.
For sure, and like you can definitely tell like how like much of an impact that makes on your program just having support staff that are so willing to help. Do you and your teammates mostly stay on campus for the summer to take classes, or are your summers dedicated to fun stuff or just focusing on your sport?
uh, I mean, summers aren't really summers anymore. It's kind of just like a stretched out or another semester of classes. For basketball, for us, we're required to be here for both sessions, and so we're taking classes, but we're mainly doing it so we can be here to work out and do the summer training and just have all those resources that Marquette provides. So, I mean, it's a win lose because you don't get to see your friends and have the fun that you normally do over summer, but it's for the greater good. So.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's definitely helping your academics and then obviously your athletic career too because you have the full year to develop. Um,
Exactly.
with missing classes because of your game schedule, because you guys play on Tuesdays and Fridays, and you're just always traveling, kind of sporadically. How do you manage or make up the classwork that you have?
Um, like I kind of said before, like Adrian and other people that work with our academic people are really good with that, making sure we're taking responsibility for what we've missed and reminding us. Because I mean, you get a busy schedule. There's oftentimes you forget stuff, but they hold you accountable and make sure you're doing what you've got to do.
Yeah, it's definitely important. I can see how, like, in season, especially when you guys are beating so many ranked teams and you guys are creeping up in the rankings, how keeping both of those as priorities is definitely key to being successful both on and off the court. So transitioning into the fun questions about basketball, when did you know that you wanted to play basketball in college, and why did you choose Marquette?
I've always knew that I wanted to play college basketball. I kind of just played basketball for as long as I could, and college is always part of that step or that process. So just the love of the game kind of came to me ever since I was young, just playing the driveway with family, playing at the park, seeing all the when I was younger, I'd always say the big boys are playing basketball, and so that's always what I wanted to do. And yeah, it's always been a part of my life, so to have it in college is kind of keeping me in college.
For sure. And then why, like, Marquette over other schools?
I'd say relationship with coaches, kind of what Wojo and his staff presented to me. It was real, and you could kind of see that. You could see there's a genuine passion and love for his guys and what he was doing. And he was about winning, and you could tell that. He wasn't here to sell you and tell you how good you are and just pamper you with all this stuff. He was here to make you better, and I knew that he was about winning, and that's what I wanted to do. So
definitely. You talk about Coach Wojciechowski's passion. Can you describe a little bit more what your relationship is like with him and the other coaches?
Well, I mean, during the recruiting process, a lot of the guys or other schools, who I just won't mention, you could kind of tell they were just more selling you on something. Trying to, like, show all their nice new fancy things, which, I mean, is great, and Marquette has a lot of that too, but Wojo, his selling points were more about his personality and his staff, like the people behind all that fancy equipment and stuff, because that's really what the things work. And just his attitude towards the game and the passion that he showed when he was saying the stuff that he said. It's not what he said, it's kind of how he said it. Sold me and my family on Marquette. So
that makes sense. Aside from, like, navigating being sold on things versus actual relationships, what was the hardest part of the recruiting process for you?
Hardest part, I'd say, was either managing all the calls and, I mean, because when you're being recruited by one school, you may be talking to 3 coaches. Then when you get a lot more offers, I mean, once I got to, like, I think it was 25 or 30 around there offers, you just get a bunch of calls from coaches, and I mean, just trying to be a normal high school student and then needing to sound presentable and kind of sell your brands to these coaches. It got to be a lot, but it's nothing you should complain about because it's an amazing opportunity to have. So
yeah, definitely. You're never, like, in a bad position when you have, like you said, 25, 30 offers as a high schooler. As an underclassman, what are you learning from the leaders on your team? I know there are great leaders like Marcus, who we've seen a lot in the media, and what you're learning from leaders on your team like Marcus. How's that going to help you in the future years to lead your team?
I'd say just seeing, like, Marcus and Sam and Sakar, Matt, for our team at least, there's just a whole bunch of different ways people lead. I mean, even down to our walk-ons with Cam, he's a great leader in his role. Matt, who doesn't play very much, but is still very vocal, teaching us stuff because he has the experience. And then there's, like, guys like Marcus who is in the spotlight all the time, and you can see what he's going through. And Sam, same thing with him, and how they lead by example. And there's guys who lead with their voice, and just all the different ways of leadership. You kind of see what people listen to more, and you kind of base what you'll go to be a leader as off that. So
Definitely. You guys have like a really great, well-rounded group of guys. Like, what would you describe your relationship with your teammates like?
Uh, Brotherhood. I mean, that's kind of what we live by. We're a family. There really isn't anything I wouldn't do for these guys, and knowing that when you're on the basketball court, knowing that you have each other's backs no matter what it is, and that you're giving all you can for the guy on the left and right of you, it just brings you closer together and makes you play better and harder too. So.
For sure. Seems like you have a really great group of brothers on the court and a bunch of great coaches. What's the best advice you've ever received from a coach, and who was that coach?
That's a hard question. I'd have to say, I'd say Stan Johnson, and what he's kind of done with my confidence, and just kind of telling me I need to play to who I am, and kind of opening my eyes to what I really am, because sometimes I'll see myself as not as much of a presence, or still needing to be improving on so much that I look past the fact that I have come as far as I have. So when you're always looking at where you need to be next and what your next goal is, for whether it's your weight, your amount of times you can bench press something, stuff like that, you kind of forget that you have come as far as you have. So knowing that he's reminded me sometimes that you have done this, you have put in the work, has helped me a lot.
Definitely. I can see that's great advice, and as I'm going to bigger meets, that's definitely something I'll remember to help motivate me too. What advice would you give besides that, because that's great advice from Coach Johnson, to high school athletes who are aspiring to reach the Division I level?
I'd say be ready for whatever, and listen to your coaches, just because what I know my freshman year, I may have not agreed with a lot of the stuff that my coaches were saying, but I followed through with it. And looking back at that now, and only being a year later, I'm thankful that I did, because for the most part, these coaches' best interests are for you to be better and for the team. So they're looking out for you, even though at the time may not seem so. So it's a new game, and they've been in that field for however long, and you're just a high school athlete. So
Definitely, that's great advice to remember. And my last question, if you can remember off the top of your head, what's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you while you're on the basketball court?
Funniest thing that's happened on the basketball court in college?
High school or college?
It's great. I've never really thought about that. You kind of think of when you're on the court as that being your job and that being a business. So it's. I remember the most embarrassing thing. This was last year. It was National Marquette Day, and we were playing Providence. And Marcus drove to the hoop and was about to convert an and one, but I don't know why I thought it was coming off the rim so I could dunk it, and I goaltended his shot that was already gonna go in. I was just thinking, they were telling me dunk the ball, so I saw the ball come up a little bit, just poked his head out, and I grabbed it, dunked it, and we missed out on a few crucial points because we ended up losing that game.